Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaoatman.com. Welcome to another episode of Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness. If you are new, I am so delighted to have you, and if you are returning, I'm even more delighted to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, I am going to be talking about living life your way, doing things your own way, instead of feeling like you have to follow the crowd, doing what everyone else does, and living for everybody else. So I want to talk to you about a cousin of mine. On Thanksgiving Day, my mom received a phone call from her niece that her niece's sister had passed away. And she was older. She was about 10 years younger than my mom, because my mom has 5 siblings and they all range in age, and there's like a 5-year difference in between almost each and every one. Not everyone, but there's 5 years in between she and her youngest sister, and then she and her next older sister. So there's an age gap. So her niece was actually closer in age to her. And she hadn't been doing well lately, but it was still kind of a shock. And we were talking about her with her sister, and her sister said, well, I just wish that I had been able to help her more because she financially wasn't so well off and she had health issues. And then as she was speaking to her sister's minister about it, her minister said, hey, she lived her life her way. She did things her way. Just like the Frank Sinatra song says, right? I did it my way. And I think that gave my cousin a little bit of comfort. But that's absolutely the way she lived her life. And she was happy living her life that way. And most people never go through life experiencing living it their own way. Most of us go through life and we're stuck in jobs we don't like because we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to get up and go to work every day. Or we're stuck in relationships because we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. Society trains us from a very early age that, especially for women, that when we get older, we need to find the man of our dreams and get married and have 2.5 kids. And, in the older days, you were supposed to stay at home, right? Be a homemaker. And then that changed. Then the nuclear family changed because it was too difficult for a family to not have 2 people working because of the economy. It just wasn't feasible. So then the mom went to work, and then you had more divorce rates, and you had a lot of things changing all of that. But there's still this ingrained subconscious societal rule or norm, if you will, that you're supposed to find a husband, get married, have kids, do all of those things. And the thing is, there's a lot of women who don't even want that. There's a lot of women who would rather focus on having a career and traveling and hanging out with friends and living their lives. And they're not even interested in getting married or having kids. And that's okay. And it's okay if you want to get married and you want to have kids. That's okay too. The thing is, what we have to stop doing is living our lives according to what other people tell us we should do, or to how society tells us we should think or what we should want. And we need to figure out what it is that we want and live our lives our own way. So I'm dedicating this episode to my cousin Debbie because she definitely lived life her own way and the way she wanted it. And I hope that I can be more like that. And I hope that you all can experience a life where you do things the way you want to do them, not because you feel like you have to do them a certain way. I had a wonderful and amazing conversation on Patreon yesterday with Heather Doran. I absolutely love her, and I've had her on my podcast many times. And every time she comes on, we have a different conversation. Our conversation is never the same, and it's always so interesting. And so I asked her to come on and talk to us because she just overhauled her whole life. She packed up everything from her home and sold her home, and she and her husband got a travel trailer, and they're now traveling. And she was working for a firm doing accounting, and she had to go into the office, and she didn't like it, and it didn't satisfy her anymore. So she decided to get a different job, one where she could work from home and work from anywhere, And so they just packed up and they're on the road, and she's loving it. She's living a life of more ease, more freedom, and more joy. And we talked about why more people aren't doing that and what it takes to get to a place in your life where you feel like you can just pack up and live a life of more joy. So we had this amazing and beautiful conversation about why more people aren't fully living for themselves. Why are people stuck living for everyone else and not living a life that's more joyful, free, and with more ease? And one of the things that she brought up, which I loved, was that we need to feel like we have to have permission to have the things we really want in our life. And the truth is, we don't need anyone's permission, but we need to speak up for ourselves and figure out what it is that we want. It's a multi-step process. Number one, you have to know what it is you want in order to find out what makes you happy. What do you want in life? I think about a Facebook meme I saw the other day that my other cousin posted about asking his wife, what did she want for dinner? And she's like, I don't care. I don't know. And this went on back and forth. And I relate, because if someone asks me, what do you want to eat for dinner? Like, I say that too. I'm like, I don't really care. And that can go on back and forth forever and ever and ever. The very first thing you have to know about yourself is what you want. What do you want in your life? What would make you happy? What would bring you a life of more ease? And you can start by thinking very in broad terms that, one day I want to live on a private island where no one lives around me and I'm surrounded by beauty and I can work from anywhere. You can start with that, but it doesn't have to be that grand. It can be something as simple as, I want to get up in the morning and not have to rush off to an office. I want to get up in the morning and not check my email the first thing I do. The first thing I want to do is go sit outside and enjoy my cup of coffee on a patio. And if that's what you want in your life, you have to think about, okay, do I live in a place where that's possible? Even if you live in a place where it gets cold in the wintertime, if you have a sunroom, that's possible. Is it possible? What are steps that I can take right now to make that a possibility? And it might be things like, okay, from now on, I'm going to have to get up a little bit earlier so I'm not rushing. So I do have time to sit down and relax and enjoy a cup of coffee. And it is all about a choice, believe me, because I thought about it. After we had our lovely conversation, I started thinking about my own life. And I don't like rushing around in the morning. I don't, but yet I do it. Every day I get up, I give myself a half hour to get ready, and that's enough time for me to get up, get dressed, wash my hair, brush my teeth, put on my makeup, get my coffee ready, everything else I do the night before. I get my lunch packed and everything. That's all done the night before, but I'm still rushing around. And I don't like the feeling of having to be rushed. And I get to work with plenty of time, so I'm not rushed once I get to work. It's the process of getting there. And I only live 5 minutes from where I work, so it's not even like it's a big deal. So how much more effort would it take to get up a little bit earlier so that I'm not feeling rushed? And that allowed me time this morning, for example, to listen to a little meditation as I was getting ready. I was putting on my makeup and I wasn't rushed, and I was able to find exactly what I needed. There was a meditation that was 10 minutes to start your day. And it was this beautiful meditation about, it wasn't one where you had to close your eyes or anything. You could still do this while you were getting ready. And in fact, I loved it so much that I made one for my Patreon page for my all exclusive members, because I just loved it. It really did get me set for the day, my intentions that it's going to be a good day. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be a good day. And you just kept repeating things like that, different things over and over again. I loved that because it forced me to kind of slow down. What I notice is that depending on what music is in the background and what's going on, my breathing changes. Like, I start breathing faster when I'm rushed. My heart rate goes up. It's not really good for your body. But I noticed today that I was very relaxed. I was calm. I had taken deeper breaths. and I was able to get ready and not be rushed and rushing everywhere. It was a much better experience. And so I thought, okay, that didn't take that much effort or time from me. So if we were to look at our lives and really sit down and say, okay, where can I make changes? They don't have to be enormous changes, but that's where we're going, right? We're headed in the direction of making enormous changes in our lives because we want to live a life of ease, of joy, freedom. That's a big one for me, freedom. My whole life, I have felt like I've had to do and be for other people, always. And that is one thing. When she said freedom, I was thinking it in my head at the same time that she said it. And I got immense chills throughout my body because I thought, that is my truth. I want to live a life of more freedom. Freedom to do what I want to do, when I want to do it. And right now, there are things in my life that don't allow that. So how can I make small changes in order to allow that? And there are a lot of little things that I can do, but will eventually add up to big things and eventually add up to probably a relocation, to getting a new job, those kinds of things, because that's where I'm headed. I don't want to stay in the same old. Like for me, that's not what I want. I want to grow and evolve continuously. But in order to do that, I have to work with the universe and I have to figure out what it is I want. So if I just say to the universe, I don't want this, and the universe is going to say, well, what do you want? But if all you're talking about is this, the things that are in front of you, you're going to keep getting more of that because where you focus your intention, that grows. So if you're focused on not liking your job, not liking where you are, not having freedom, not being at peace, that stuff's going to grow if you're focused on the lack. Instead, you have to focus on what you want to see in your life. I want to live a life of more ease. I want to live a life of peace. I want to live a life of more freedom. How can I do that? And not rushing around in the morning when it's one way for me. Now, you could do something as grand as Heather did and completely pack up your stuff and move out. Or you can make it something simple and you can take 5 more minutes in the morning to sit and have your coffee, or 10 more minutes. Or you can do a quick little affirmation or a meditation or something in the morning that sets your intention that you're going to have a good day, that good things are coming in for you and that you can't wait to see them. It's all about being intentional. And again, it's a multi-step process. The first step is figuring out what it is that's going to make you happy, what it is that's going to bring you more joy. Sit down with yourself and really ask yourself that question. Give yourself permission. And if you have a hard time with this, imagine yourself as a sweet little 5-year-old child. What would that 5-year-old want right now? And yeah, I'm sure the 5-year-old would want to go out and play, right? But you're still that inner child deep inside. Give yourself the permission that you need to do the things you want to do in life. Stop living your life according to the way you think others think you should be living your life. You know, a lot of people have questioned things I've done over the past few years, like starting a podcast, writing a book, all of these things. These were not things that my family shouted for joy and they were so proud. No, it was not like that at all. It was more like, have you lost your mind? What are you doing? Why are you putting this out there? And that's literally the greetings that I got when I first started to do all of this work was, what's going on? Like, have you lost your mind? Do we need to go get you some help? I love my family. It's nothing against them, but they didn't understand at first. Of course, they slowly got on board. There's still things, if I bring up different things like, oh, I started this program today, or I'm offering this, it's just a look of like, oh, okay, here we go again. Why are you doing this? Focus on just living the normal life, being a teacher and going and doing these things. That does not bring me joy. I mean, that's not my totality in life, right? It's not just that. It's doing all of these things that bring me joy. And you're going to probably get weird looks from people when you start to actually live your bliss. You can't worry about that. You're not living your life for anyone else. And what do you care if anyone else is happy with what you're doing? If you're not hurting them, as long as you're happy, you have to live your bliss. That's what we came here to do. And once you start figuring out what makes you happy, what makes you tick, you kind of start to get into where your purpose lies. When we serve others, when we feel fulfilled, that's when we find our purpose. But in order to get there, you have to actually go deep within and figure out what it is that makes you happy. When you start figuring that out, then you can start making those little changes. For example, if I know that I don't like living where it's cold, okay, I know I want to live somewhere warmer, then I need to start taking steps to figure out how can I make that happen. Well, it's going to take changing jobs. It's going to take changing where I live. So there's going to be a lot that entails. But I don't have to do everything tomorrow. One of the things that I was thinking about was that it could be a slow thing where you buy rental property first, and then you go and visit, and then eventually you make the move. Because I know people who've done that. So there are lots of ways that you can do that. Or if you're sitting out there and going, well, I'm in this career, if you're a teacher and maybe you don't want to be in the classroom anymore, it's understandable. There are a lot of places hiring now for online teachers, or there are companies that hire teachers for trainers. So there's a lot of ways that you can work around what you're currently doing in your life. You just have to be willing to think outside the box, do a little digging too. You find a lot of things online, and of course you have to be careful because not everything is legit. But if you're looking for ways to make your life easier, or maybe you're looking for a better way to do the job that you're currently doing, the internet is a great place to do some research, and there are a lot of groups out there. I belong to a lot of teacher groups where there are teachers in those groups who say, hey, I got out of it and here's what I did. So if there are things that you're not happy with in your life right now, there are ways and there are steps that you can take to make those necessary changes. And one of the things that I really loved about creating the 60-day Transformational Journal was that there are a lot of prompts in there that help you do that inner digging to figure out what it is you really want in your life. And there are prompts that help you set goals for your life. That's really important, because if you just go about meandering and I don't know what's going on today, you're not going to get very far. And the great thing about setting goals is it holds you accountable. Not only that, but you can look back and see how far you've come. I looked back at my manifestation journal just the other day, and there were 5 things I'd already accomplished on there that I didn't even realize were in my manifestation journal. I look back and I was like, oh my gosh, I already did all those 5 things. That's really cool. Look how far I've come. And setting goals is great because that helps you to look back and see, oh my gosh, I'm making progress. And going inward to figure out, what are my passions? What am I really, really excited about? That can help lead you to your purpose. And it can also help lead you to making changes in your life that bring you more joy. And it can also bring up things that maybe you're doing right now that aren't really serving you. Like if you're saying yes too often to people when you know you should be saying no, because you know you should be setting your healthy boundaries because you're going to be exhausted and there's no time left for you, you'll see that when you start doing this inner work. And that was the fun thing about making that journal, was knowing how much this is going to help people change their lives, which I absolutely love. And I love journaling. I think it is such an amazing thing. It can help ease your anxiety, and it can calm you down, give you a clearer picture of where you want to go. And I love that. And you can go to my website, melissaoatman.com/shop, and you can still purchase the journal. And it makes a great gift. So think about that if you're looking for something that will help you develop the self. The other thing is sometimes we just get stuck in fear. And fear really is just some form of a lie we've told ourselves. It's some condition we told ourselves that if we go against that conditioning, something bad's going to happen. And we have so much conditioning from childhood and even from past lives. It's really important to deal with that because you will self-sabotage so fast if you don't deal with your conditioning. And I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it with people I've worked with. It's very easy to do. So it's important to really get to the bottom of what are my fears? What keeps me stuck where I am? Why can't I move forward? And then how can I work with this? How can I let go of that conditioning so that I can just see what's going to happen if I do this? One of the things that I admire about Heather was that she just jumps in, but she said, I jump all in and then later realize, there's all these things I should have thought about that I didn't think about. And I understand that because I've definitely done that myself in my life. If something really, really makes me afraid, I usually jump head first to do it because I feel like I have to. I feel like, okay, I have to face this fear head on. What's the worst that can happen? And I'm never sorry that I did it, but there are always things in the end I'm like, I should have taken this into consideration. I should have taken that into consideration. So you don't have to jump head first into something. Sit down and really think about, okay, if I were to do this, how would I feel? Would this make me happy? And what are some possible obstacles that could come up? And how can I get around those obstacles? How can I deal with that? Those are the kinds of questions that are really important to ask. And that's why I love doing the deep inner work. But you do not need anyone's permission. It's time for you to stop staying in lack, stop staying stuck, stop feeling trapped. Go after what you want, okay? Go after what you want. The universe always says yes, but not now, or no, because I have something better. And in any of those options, you're going to get something amazing. You're going to get something amazing out of it. Do the thing already. Start taking steps to figure out what makes you happy and how you can start doing more things in your life that align with your happiness because you deserve it. You absolutely deserve it. All right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for being here with me. I pulled a card for you today, but before I read the card, I want to remind you of a few things. You can buy podcast merchandise. I did actually switch my online store because I was not happy with the customer service from the other store. So go and check out the new podcast merchandise store. I want to thank you to those who have already purchased things, but I want to ensure that there's good quality always, and I could not guarantee that with the company I was using and was not very happy with them. So I switched, still the same kinds of products, still same stuff, but just a different carrier. And also, I want to remind you too that if you want to work with me, I am still offering coaching. I have my 30-day transformational package where we can work on anything you want to work on. But if you're looking for that self-development, self-growth, that is definitely one of the things that we work on in that program. I also still have my online courses, the 10-day intensive self-love course. It's a great place to start if you're just looking to learn and grow and love yourself more, but you don't have a lot of maybe money or time. It's only $20 and it's 10 days, and you can work the program for as ever long as you need to. So if it takes you months, that's okay too. Go at your own pace. So everything can be found on my website, melissaoatman.com. If you like my Monday night readings, you can purchase a reading online too. And I now offer gift cards, so you can purchase someone a gift card for my website, and then they can book whatever session they want. So it's all there at melissaoatman.com. Go and check it out. And also join me on Patreon. You can still become a member. And for my Top tier members, you not only get extra podcast episodes a week, but you get readings and guided meditations and extra bonus stuff. So go and check that out. I'd love to have you over there. All right, so the card for today. The card for today is from my deck, Divine Whispers, and it is Heal Your Past. There are issues from your past that are affecting your current life right now. The universe is asking you to heal your past. If we don't heal from our past, we will bleed on people who didn't cut us. You have to heal those old emotional wounds if you truly wish to move forward free from emotional baggage. When we carry old wounds, the effects can spill over into current relationships. When you choose to heal your past, you are not only helping free yourself from old burdens, you are also healing generations of family wounds. You are totally recoding your family's DNA. Allow yourself to let the hurt go. Hurt is too heavy to carry. Heal yourself and break free from the chains of your past today. I love this card, and there's a prayer, and I'm going to read that in a moment. But before I do, I want to just let you know that I had a guest on, Lisa Tahir, a few days ago, and she talked about the Chiron wounding. And on my Patreon page, I actually did a podcast where this was fun. I asked my patrons to give me their sign, their placement in Chiron. And so then I went and I looked up all of the wounding from those particular signs, and I did a whole podcast about it. And it was really, really a lot of fun. They loved it. They were like, oh my gosh, this was so great that you actually personalized our podcast. And then on Friday of this week, I am going to go through and read how to heal the wounding for those particular signs in Chiron, which is really cool too. And I'm excited to record that podcast for them. And they really, truly love it. So if you are on the fence about becoming a patron, that is another reason why you should, because I do like to personalize those podcasts on that Patreon page. All right, guys, so here is your healing prayer today. You can either just listen to it or you can repeat it after me. Dear Archangels Michael and Uriel, the emotional wounds of my past are affecting my life today. Please help me to heal these old wounds so that I may move forward in my life free from emotional baggage. I ask you to cut the energetic cords to any people, situations, or problems from my past. Allow me to feel lighter and freer. Thank you for helping me heal today. Amen. All right, and I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're living your absolute best life, and I hope that in some way I'm helping you. I want to thank you for supporting me, always listening. The greatest compliment you can pay is to leave me a positive review or to share my podcast with others. Thank you for those of you who have already done that. I really appreciate that. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live Mondays at 6:30 Central on Facebook, where I do a free card reading. Show up for the live. I'll pull a card especially for you. And you can work with me. You can even book a free discovery call with me if you'd like to work with me, but you're not really sure what you need. A lot of people do that, and then I talk to them, and then they know what they want to purchase, and then they purchase it, and we have a session, and it's awesome. So feel free to book your own free discovery call, or you can even just reach out to me. I don't mind. I am not so busy that I can't answer emails or texts or messages on Facebook and Instagram. Absolutely reach out. I love hearing from you. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're having a beautiful day from wherever you're listening. As always, I am sending you so much love and light, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.